Hello and welcome. This is a slightly different video. This is going to show my thoughts behind actually designing and creating a small model railway. It's based on the test track that I use. So I use a program called Rail Modeler because I'm Mac based. And as you can see here, I'm just adding a baseboard, which gives me a starting point to know how much space I have to use. It's a nice simple way of doing it for me that works well, and then allows me to really be thinking about, am I using too much room? What can I actually fit in there within the process? Now the track plan I'm going to be creating it's very simple, it's very basic. It's a simple loop with a couple of points on there to create a passing loop. The reason I've got a couple of points on there to create the passing loop is to allow me to test how well the trains I'm running traverse those points. And I wanted to see them do it in both directions, which means I've got slightly different radiuses at either end of the track. The reason that's it's just to give the different flow of points so that the train isn't always moving in exactly the same direction. Now I have used set track on it for small areas. I find that the set track is far more efficient, and it allows me just to put things down very quickly and get it on and get it working. So we've now got to a point where we've got sort of 3/4 of the setup ready for us there. We're now going to add the sort of 2 points that I've used. I haven't gone for set track points because set track points just don't work very well with a lot of steam era N-gauge stock. It's far better to use the points from the streamline range. So again, that's what I've gone and used, and they interlink perfectly with the set track, providing you're keeping with the code 80. If you want to go with the code 55, then yeah, that works as well. As you can see, the track layout so far is showing that it fits within the boundaries of my baseboard. It's not a massive baseboard. It's 158 centimeters long and 61 centimeters wide. And we're now just putting in the final piece of flexi track to show what is actually there. And when I created the real one, I did use flexi track just to make it quicker for me there. It's kind of also based on what I've got. FlexiTrack works better with the points sort of joining between them. It provides a smaller one. Now I go on to thinking about, well, if I wanted to scenify the layout, what would I do? And I thought, well, on the right hand side, let's put a tunnel, because who doesn't like seeing a train emerge from a tunnel? Adds a bit of mystery and a bit of excitement. Where's it come from? Where's it been? And where might it be going to? And something else I really enjoy with watching trains is actually watching them pass over bridges. So I thought, well, let's see if we can put a river in on the far side. The tools within Rail Modeler, they're good for the creation of track. They're not so brilliant for the creation of scenic sections, but I can roughly show where I might want a river to go by just putting in blocks of colour and then making sure that those colours go behind the track itself. And I can use a block of blues to indicate that yes, this is where a river could go. The thing I always believe when I'm planning like this is that what I'm looking at, it's indicative. It's not something that I have to stick exactly to should I want to design and build it in the end, but it shows me roughly where I'm going, and it kind of allows me to clarify my thoughts and develop my ideas. If I were to fully scenic my test track that I have at the moment, to make the river, I think I'd go down the resin route this time. One of the things I do like doing with test tracks is using them not just to test the trains themselves, but also to test different ideas for making different scenery. So, and I've never used resin when making water before, as in casting resin. So I thought, yeah, we could have a go at that, couldn't we? The other thing I tend to do if I'm putting things in, I like to give an indication of what sort of scenery I might put in. Trees can make great view blockers, so I'm indicating where I might want to put some trees. By putting some trees near the tunnel entrance on one side, it almost extends the tunnel itself. It hides the train before it actually goes in, or it can hide it coming out from the other side. So it makes you feel as if the train is longer, but it doesn't stop you accessing it. One of the things to remember, were I to put the tunnel in on the test track, I don't want to make it so it's totally inaccessible. After all, I am there testing the trains, and I want to be able to have easy access to clean the track and to rescue the trains should something go awry with them. So I wouldn't make the tunnel removable, but I would make it accessible from either the side or underneath. Now obviously I've decided to put in quite a plethora of trees, and I went and decided I'd put some down the riverbank as well. Again, it kind of fits with the scene. It breaks up the area that you're looking at, and you can then view the layout in different ways. And it splits into different zones to see it, which it all adds interest when you're looking at it. The other idea of having a river, it creates almost a variety of heights. Now with my existing test track that follows this track plan, it's only on a board at the moment. There's no framework to it. So if I wanted to build this in this way, I'd have to create a framework, and then I'd have to create an area that allowed the track to be dropped. It's something I have considered, and I would consider actually putting in a gradient, a deliberate gradient. Again, it tests the locos. It really shows what their hauling power is. Gradients can be wonderful things to have on model railways. I know some people absolutely hate them, but I find them really interesting, and it does show things off so much in such a different way. So it's something I may well put in. But one of the final things I now go to put in is, again, it's another view breaker. So by putting in a road that would be an overbridge rather than an underbridge. So it splits up the view directly into the tunnel along the long straight, and then the road will climb up over the hill. By putting it there, you can still get the train emerging from the tunnel, but you can also get it coming out from the tunnel, and if you're looking directly through a bridge, you can get it going from one spot to another spot and really see how it's going. And it creates that illusion of distance, which again, it's something on a small layout it's a good trick to be able to get. Would it work in reality? Well, who knows, but it sounds like it's a good idea, and it's worth putting in there to have a go at it. It's something I've used on different layouts in the past, just to add that view blocker in. And again, it's creating another sort of distinct area. Now, as you can see, we've nearly finished placing the road. I'm just fiddling around slightly, making it so that the road is behind the trees. Just from a sheer, I can do that point of it, and to have the tree cover showing as going over the road to hide the road a little bit at that point, and the road reaches the back. The final thing I go to put on is some buildings. Now, as a test track, I thought, did I want to have a station on there? But then I thought, actually, I don't really want to. A station can be quite limiting in terms of the stock you run. If you want to run stock that's larger than your normal one, having a platform that's close can actually prevent that happening. We saw that happen when Farish released their 08, and the connection rods were fouling lots of people's platforms that were perfectly fine for all their previous stock. with this layout, I wasn't thinking that there'd be any connection there, and sort of trying to remove all possibility of it. Now we've put a few buildings in. Whether those buildings would really go there, who knows? But it's simply a case of putting them there. I hope you've enjoyed watching my thoughts of creating this layout. Let me know if you've got any suggestions. Should I actually try and convert my test track to be as it is?